There is a quiet truth about attraction that most people never notice. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not intense. It's subtle. It lives in the pauses between actions, in the spaces between words, in the moments when you pull your energy away and let silence speak for you. And this truth is simple. Ignoring her often works better than chasing, not because you're trying to play games, but because human psychology reacts to what's missing far more than what's present. When you chase, your energy moves outward. It reaches, it clings, it tries to convince. Chasing feels like pressure, even when you don't realize you're doing it. It makes you predictable. It makes your intentions obvious. And nothing kills curiosity faster than knowing exactly what someone will do next. You text, she expects it. You call, she anticipates it. You ask to meet, she already knows it's coming. Predictability feels safe, but it doesn't create emotional movement. It doesn't make her think. It doesn't make her wonder. But when you step back, something shifts. Something in the atmosphere changes. Your silence introduces uncertainty, not the painful kind, just enough to awaken awareness. She starts to notice the absence of your energy. She starts to notice the space where your attention used to be. She starts to notice the quiet. And the mind hates quiet when it's used to noise. The mind hates absence when it's used to presence. The mind hates losing what it didn't have to work for. Ignoring her calmly, peacefully, without anger creates a psychological pull because it makes her feel something she didn't feel before. Contrast. She once had your attention. Now, she doesn't. She once had your consistency. Now there's space. She once knew exactly where she stood with you. Now there's a question mark. The human brain focuses on unanswered questions more than answered ones, and your distance becomes a question she can't ignore. You're not punishing her. You're not being cruel. You're not pretending not to care. You are simply withdrawing the energy you were giving too freely. And when you take that energy back, she finally has room to feel her own. She has space to notice whether she misses you, space to notice whether she valued you, space to notice the difference between your presence and your absence, and that difference is where attraction grows. People don't appreciate what is always in front of them. They appreciate what they have to reach for, even slightly. They appreciate what isn't guaranteed. They appreciate what has emotional weight, and distance has weight. Silence has weight. Pulling back has weight. It forces the other person to stop taking you for granted, even if they didn't mean to. Ignoring her is not about disappearing. It's about shifting the center of your attention back to yourself. It's about not chasing someone whose energy isn't matching yours. It's about letting her feel your value instead of explaining it. Chasing speaks louder, but distance speaks deeper. And the moment you step back, something inside her finally has the chance to step forward. There is a moment, right after you pull your energy back, when the atmosphere around her shifts in ways she didn't expect. At first, she may not react. She may even pretend she doesn't notice. But quietly, without showing it, she begins to feel the change. She starts searching for the little signals she grew, used to the text that used to arrive without fail, the attention she never had to ask for, the warmth she could depend on. And when it's not there, her mind becomes restless. Human psychology is designed to notice patterns, but it becomes even more alert when a pattern breaks, especially an emotional one. When someone stops giving what they once gave so freely, the mind doesn't simply let it go. It replays, it wonders, it scans for meaning. And this is where ignoring her becomes powerful. Not because you're withholding anything out of spite, but because the sudden silence forces her to see what she never took time to examine. She starts asking herself questions she never asked before. Did something change? Did I do something wrong? Why isn't he showing the same energy anymore? Why do I feel this gap where his presence used to be? That gap becomes a mirror, not for you, for her. Your absence reflects her behavior back to her more clearly than any words ever could. If she was taking you for granted, she now feels the emptiness where your consistency once stood. If she was testing your boundaries, she now realizes you won't play into her push and pull rhythm. If she assumed you'd always chase, she now meets the version of you who knows how to walk away without a single announcement. This is the moment when her emotional reflex kicks in. It's not conscious. It's not strategic. It's instinct. The same instinct that humans have used for thousands of years, the instinct to protect what might be slipping away. Attraction is not built on pressure. It's built on emotion. And emotion grows in the space where certainty dies. Ignoring her creates that space. Not a void. Not a cold wall. Just quiet. just distance. Just the removal of your constant presence that she unconsciously relied on. She may start checking your social media more than before. She may reread old messages. She may reply faster. She may suddenly want to talk, to reconnect, to test the temperature of your energy. She may not even understand why she feels pulled toward you again. But deep down, she is responding to the same psychological trigger we all have. The fear of losing something we didn't fully appreciate. Your silence forces her to see your value. Your distance forces her to reflect on her actions. Your calmness forces her to realize you are not dependent on her. And nothing creates attraction faster than emotional independence. Ignoring her only works when it comes from strength, not resentment. When you're genuinely at peace with walking away. When you're not pretending. When you're not hoping she notices. You're simply shifting your attention to yourself. Because that's where it should have been all along. And when a man turns his attention inward, a woman feels the difference. She feels the weight of what she lost access to. She feels the gap. She feels the pull. Not because you forced it, but because silence reveals truth louder than effort ever could. There is a deeper layer to all of this one most people never understand. They think ignoring her works because it confuses her, or because it makes her chase, or because it flips the power dynamic. But the truth is far more meaningful. Ignoring her works because it brings you back into alignment with yourself. It stops you from leaking energy into a situation that wasn't feeding you. It restores the balance that chasing destroys. And balance is what creates genuine attraction. When you stop chasing, you reclaim something you didn't even realize you'd given away. Your emotional center, your sense of worth, your calm, your sense of direction, your ability to choose instead of constantly reacting. Chasing makes you reactive. Distance makes you intentional, and that shift changes everything, not just inside her, but inside you. Because when you pull your attention away from her, it naturally flows back where it always belonged, into your purpose, your passion, your growth, your life. Your focus becomes deeper, your presence becomes stronger, your emotions become quieter and more controlled. You stop overthinking every message. You stop obsessing over every response. You stop trying to manage her perception of you. Instead, you move differently, more grounded, more patient, more observant. This change is subtle, but she feels it. Humans are intuitive creatures. We notice shifts in energy before we notice shifts in behavior. And when your energy becomes centered instead of chasing, she picks up on it instantly. Even if she doesn't say it, even if she pretends not to care, she feels the difference. She feels that you're no longer seeking her attention. She feels that you're no longer emotionally dependent on her responses. She feels that you're no longer waiting for her validation, and something deep inside her wakes up. Curiosity, respect, interest, sometimes even regret. Not because you ignored her, but because you became someone who doesn't need to chase to feel worthy. The truth most people never accept is simple. When you ignore her from a place of emotional strength, you create a gravitational pull. Not the desperate kind, not the controlling kind. The natural kind, the kind that comes from someone who knows their value and doesn't bend it to gain attention. Your silence becomes confidence. Your distance becomes mystery. Your calm becomes attractive. Your self-focus becomes magnetic. Ignoring her works because it breaks the pattern she was relying on, but it also breaks the pattern inside you that made you chase in the first place. It forces you to stop trying to win someone who wasn't choosing you with full effort. It forces you to rebuild your inner world instead of trying to pull her into it. And when you rebuild yourself, everything around you responds differently. She may come back with renewed effort. She may return with clarity. She may show interest in ways she never did before. But even more important than her reaction is the one happening inside you. You've stopped chasing what wasn't flowing toward you, and that changes the way you move through every connection in your future. Ignoring her works not because it manipulates her, but because it liberates you. It puts you back in your power. It reminds you that real attraction grows in the quiet soil of self, not in the noise of pursuit.